illustrious leader Sultan Mirak giving a quick preview on a video. So, besides me, Von Helgen, your host, and person on sticks, we have obviously Sultan Mirak.
Yo, everybody. How y'all doing today? We got some Destiny stuff to talk about, so let's get it
So brace
underway.
yourself.
Because as we were talking about before, the game is stale, and it's still good. It's a stale cupcake, but it's stale. Because everything, and I have one of the bullet points as the major issues that's plaguing Destiny right now is everything, like there's lack of gameplay variety. Nearly everything in Destiny is go here, shoot them, defend that, go kill the big bad. And social spaces leave a lot to be desired. The community has no narrative agency, and our legend to this point has been errand person.
So, very true.
Because
we are supreme errand boy.
Right. Every expansion is just, hey, we learned some stuff, but we're not strong enough to actually go and investigate it. So you go and investigate it, and we'll tell you what to do and where to go and what you need to do when you get there. Don't worry about anything else. We got you. Just go shoot stuff. And
Man with gun version 2.
Right. And to that point, we're just Master Chief. We're just a different version of Master Chief. We're just doing the same thing that we did in Halo. It's just we have magic powers instead of advanced sciences. I mean, technically
we have both.
Just advanced sciences.
Yes,
right.
we technically have both. Like our magic powers allow us to actually manipulate the advanced sciences. Is the best way to put it. Like, we're still using the concept of arc light, which is just lightning. We're still using the concept of solar energy, and we're putting them into grenades and to weapons and whatnot. It's paracausal energy, but it's still us using paracausal energy to make scientific things happen in the way that we want it to. It's the darkness that does stuff that it's hard to explain. Because that's all like psionic energy and shit.
We learn to reality warp, but being that we are humans, our reality warping is very limited because we're humans.
Yeah, like in comparison to people like the Hive who don't really have that much paracausal power, but the fact of the matter is that what little they do have is able to allow them to make entire, basically separate worlds detached from reality that allows them to become immortal, and we chew up Hive like their tissue paper. So there's something to be said about that.
Right. It's like and it's made even more obvious how not important we are when every single one of our campaigns is every single one of our major campaigns is the enemy got our power and they use it better than we do.
Oh yeah.
Go show them that we're older so we're stronger.
First little bit, because it was basically the catalyst for us getting new powers, but then after a while it did kind of feel insulting. Well, yeah, it was just like, man, we've had our version of the light for as long as we've been able to do all sorts of cool shit, and for the longest time we've basically been told that the light can only form itself in very particular ways, and it's the same thing with the darkness. And then we see the enemies use it for all these other things, which then immediately just makes us go, well, I can't do that. What the hell?
Do that?
It was now, it wasn't that case with Gaul, because at least with Gaul, when he did get our powers, he did just get versions of our powers. Like, it was still like a Sentinel shield, it was still a Blade of Dawn, whatever the fuck. It was still just the same shit that we've been doing for a long time. But as the series went on, more and more creatures were able to harness and utilize the light. Basically, you just saw all sorts of different applications. Now, obviously, you have things like Savathun's, like Light Hive, into where, they do still use our supers, but notice how their supers are still different.
They use them differently.
they use differently, and they're still better. Like the Sentinel shield gets
Hmm.
2 shields and can call them back at will. The Stormcaller can make gravity vortexes and cause lightning to rain down everywhere. It's like other races have such a
The blade
broader,
barrage literally just
hmm?
follows and tracks.
Yeah,
The blade
like,
barrage follows and tracks.
and the thing is that like it's almost like it's being perceived that when other races get access to the same power, it's do humans have some sort of block that allows them to imagine that their abilities to do things more than just what we're being told they do? Because let's be honest, let's go back to Destiny 1 for a second. All of our abilities were just simple things that a human can understand. Here's void light, shape it into a bubble. Here's arc light, I'm gonna hit the ground with it. Like, oh, this void light isn't stable, I'm gonna throw it like a baseball. Or, golden gun. I'm just gonna make my gun on fire and have it hurt things like that. Obviously, you could make it more complicated, but the point is that humans, their understanding of how the light works is, let's just say it was limited back in the day. But because
It's
these
very
other
limited.
races use light in all these other ways, how come we didn't, after a while, go, maybe we should try that. Maybe we should go
Right.
and maybe do some other things with that. Because if you think about it, the Hive Stormcaller, he's not doing very much different than our Stormcaller, except he doesn't need to be up next and up close to enemies to use his power. He just
Right.
calls down lightning from the sky, no matter where you are. He can
Right.
do that. Like,
The Hive Wizard is used to more long range activity, so he does more long range attacks. And that's one of the things that like genuinely frustrates me. There's no reason why our guardians cannot develop different tactics within the same power kit. It's
again, proving
it
the fact that there
it
are other races that can do the same fucking thing.
right,
Like,
because again, going back to Destiny 1, because that's where our first subclasses came from, and the full story of our additional subclasses, because it was just getting us our third light subclass. All of the subclasses are just orders that have existed for however long, and you literally learn how to use that particular element from somebody else who's using it the same way. Yes, at the beginning of Destiny 2, we had to go and piece all of it back together, but we're just piecing our memories back together. That's literally all we did. So we're using the light in the ways that people before the nomenclature for how we are uh, separated into our classes is just based off of what our guardian was most readily prepared to do when they joined the vanguard. If they wanted to defend the tower, they were titans. If they wanted to go research stuff, like gain more knowledge within the city, just like about the world and stuff, those are warlocks. If they didn't want to be in the city at all and they just wanted to find out what was out there with the power that they had, those dudes were deemed hunters. That's literally it. So the way that you
and
carry yourself, yeah,
the
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was about to mention this too because I've heard this argument as well, and I've heard the stupid lay addition for this is that people do like to point out, and I do agree with this at some point, is that you do in a military setting you do want to keep like roles pretty like segmented, right? It's like you have the Titans doing what they're doing, you have the Warlocks doing what they're doing, you have the Hunters do what they're doing, but the part about it that makes no sense is more or less what you're saying is that just because I choose to be a hunter doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to learn how a Titan fights or like learn the certain spells that
Right.
a warlock like can use. The hunter is my military designation. It is my job to go out and to scout and to find things. It is the job of a titan to stay and defend the home base. It is the job of the warlock to look at the shit that I find and figure out what the hell's going on. And it's when we piece all that
But
together and
warlocks
we
can't
find a
decipher
strike.
engrams.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the fact that like
We piece
we
all
do
that
all of
information
that,
together.
And then once it all comes to a head, that's when we form the strike teams. That's when we form the fire teams to go out and strike at the heart of whatever's happening. Titan defends the home base, the warlock figures out what's going on, the hunter finds whatever it is, then they all join together to go take care of it. That's more or less the
Right.
concept of how we've known Destiny for the longest time. And the issue, more or less, is that you haven't given us enough of a reason why we are segmented as hard as we are. Why can't we do a lot of the
Right.
same shit we see with the light? Why is the light so segmented in how it is? And granted, I did discover one little detail that made me kind of go, okay, maybe that's a enough of a point, and it's kind of what I was talking about earlier, that all of our abilities are still just things that humans are capable of coming up with, and that might be the
Mm-hmm.
reason why for the longest time we can't do that shit, is because, and this is going to sound really harsh, but it's kind of what I'm thinking about, up until Strand, our character wasn't capable of coming up with anything, and I kind of
Right.
see more things pointing to the fact, and this is what makes me the most mad, Cream. Our character isn't apparently is not supposed to be special to some fucking degree, and even developers have gone
He's
another way
not.
to say that, and that doesn't make any fucking sense
Mm-hmm.
to me because we've literally been
Everybody keeps
cited
running
by
to
other
us.
people keeps running to us, and we keep getting cited by other characters like, hey, what's going on, God Killer? You know, it's like, hey, what's going on? You've killed a few gods in your
Right.
time. It's not that Guardians kill gods, it's that this guy kills gods. And yet,
Right.
what okay, so what's different about us compared to everyone else? I mean, it's granted, I know there was in the trailer for the final shape that the ghost does bring that up finally. Like, hey, you ever wondered why people always come to us and like why we're capable of doing this shit? And seeing that part of the trailer made me like kind of go, are they finally going to answer like why, like, even though we're supposedly super powerful, why in one timeline we're Saint's fucking like, you know, teacher, why Ikora can float and cast Nova Bomb whenever she wants, or any of her other abilities, why we're somehow not nearly as powerful as half of the people that were around, yet we're the ones who are
But we're the
capable of
person who
killing
gets everything done.
gods. Yeah, we're the one who gets everything done, but we don't have nearly as much power. I'm not saying that there isn't some level of that in all sorts of stories. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, King Arthur isn't as powerful like as Merlin at all. Yet he does have something about him that makes him, you know, that makes him the one true king. That makes him the one to kill the dragon. Blah 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 blah. So, like, obviously Arthur is not as powerful as Merlin, but there's something about him. We have not seen that in Destiny in all of its 10 years. Besides that, yeah, we're the ones who
Right.
get the raid boss kills. He
You
is
know,
the king.
he
Like,
rallied the Knights of the Round Table. He pulled Excalibur from the Sword and the Stone. He
mm-hmm.
received Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake. He wooed Guinevere. Like,
Like I got a
there are
blue
things.
from an
Divine
exotic
is a
engram in
legend
Destiny
for a
One.
reason.
That's my legend. I got a
Right.
blue from an exotic engram. Like, and I feel like
I
that's
I ran this raid 74 times before I got the exotic.
yep. It's and to some degree, and this is the only thing the only thing I'll give in this discussion is that when you're talking about a game, to some degree, I guess it can make sense, especially when you're talking about an MMO, where it's like if you put too much on the singular person, then it doesn't really make any sense that there's all these other guardians running around. But I also think that's bullshit because there are plenty of guardians who are going off on secret missions, going off on minor missions, like minor conflicts like with Hive or Cabal, like people going off and negotiating with Fallen and Elixir and shit like that. Like, there's clearly Guardians doing hundreds of other missions besides what we're doing. Because if you notice, none of our strike missions are minor. It's always, granted, I know we're repeating them, but it's always the go stop the main battle tank from destroying the city, go stop this to stop a planet from exploding, go stop the Vex, go stop the Elixir, go stop this. It's not, hey, go assist in this like skirmish. It's always do or die time right now. And same thing with all the raids.
Right.
So again, we're the ones handling this shit. Even if you want to say that, like, at a maximum, there are 3 guardians, like one Titan, one Warlock, one Hunter, and they're the ones responsible for all this shit. You still haven't given that to us. King Arthur, just like you said,
Right.
did all of those things and everyone acknowledged it. We do all these amazing things, everyone acknowledges it, but there's nothing else about that's special. We are Soldier A.
Hmm.
We only talk when we absolutely fucking
Right.
need to. We don't do anything else.
And I feel like
We are gun.
I feel
We are
like our
gun.
paracausal, yeah, I feel like our paracausal energy is just multiversal energy. We are able to basically manifest other versions of ourselves to work in tandem on a particular objective. So it's not that we're anything in particular, like we're not anything particularly special, or rather, it is that we are particularly special in that we can manifest concentrated versions of ourselves from other timelines that are concerted in achieving a particular goal. So from the outside, it looks like it was just one person, but in reality, it was you and five echoes.
Or something like that, yeah.
Because
I
paracausal,
can see that,
it,
yeah.
like
I
if
mean,
you switch out paracausal with multiversal, every
disagreeing with you, but but I'm saying that paracausal means a lot of different things. So it is probably what you're saying, and then a bunch of other shit too, because
Mhm.
the nature of paracausal like energy in of itself, it is literally just, hey, your power lets random bullshit happen, basically. Like it's like you
Mhm.
contort reality by being, and as a result, some shit
Mhm.
happens. Like,
You're a seventh dimensional being in a two-dimensional world. What does that mean? You can do whatever you want within the confines of the rules that were defined for the simulation that you're participating in. That's paracausal energy.
yeah, it's fucking stupid sometimes.
Yay.
But beyond like the reasonings and whatnot, let's get back to this part. Is that when you're talking about a video game, one of the instant deaths of any game that especially wants to be like a long form, like people and just for the audience, what I mean by long form game is think a game like World of Warcraft, a game that basically has yet to die and has still more things being added to it since its inception. Same thing with the game called Warframe. It's basically Space Ninjas, and
Hmm.
people just kept adding shit to Space Ninjas, not allowing themselves to be cowed. There's ship combat, there's space combat, there's horse combat, there's dragon combat, there's all sorts of puzzles and other mini games, as well as all sorts of
There's
powers to
there's
augment your experience.
there's radio crime dramas.
Right,
Radio
yeah.
crime drama
Radio
in
crime
your
dramas that play into
MMO.
other missions. Yeah, straight up. Like Warframe just allows you to do all that shit. And the issue is that Destiny, even though it calls itself an MMO, right? It
Laid the foundation for all of these things
like pretty
and
much,
never paid up on them.
and it never
Cause,
went further than what it put on the table.
cause
Is because
how many
what it was on the
people
table was fine.
in
It was all right. It was a good
right
game, but never did anything
and
else with it.
how many people in the community know that there are investigation patrol missions that
Not
literally just have you
many.
going to different points across the patrol zone, dispatching a couple of enemies, and then finding out about something in the area? Not a lot of people know because investigation patrols are rare and also kind of boring.
Yep.
Conversely, let's say, because did you play Halo 4 at all?
Yeah. Long
Um,
time ago.
yes, right. Halo 4 had Spartan Ops as the multiplayer version of the game, right? Spartan Ops, every week you had 5 missions each week. Once you completed those 5 missions, it gave you like a 15, 20-minute episode of what was happening with the story. You're a grunt, yes, but there's a story happening and you're contributing to that story being complete. And once you contribute, like once you did your part, it let you know what you allowed to happen or what happened while you were doing what you were doing so that could inform why you're doing what you're doing next week. Destiny
Hmm.
kind of does that in that after you complete your weekly events, and they only just started doing this last year, um, after you complete your weekly quest step, you go sit somewhere and watch other people talk. It's not a
Hmm.
cutscene, it's an in-game cinematic. Like it's not even a cinematic. It's just a in-game conversation because it's the same kind of brief that you get before you go and do missions. It's just that they're not talking to you. They just don't care that you're there while they're having their conversation.
Yep.
Because like they don't start the conversation until you get there, but the conversation has absolutely nothing to do with you 80% of the time. And then you just get an update. Oh well, hey, they were talking about this, so I guess you need to go do this thing until you.
Yeah, it's actually like weirdly enough one of the rudest things that you could do to someone is to basically invite them to a place and not interact with them and then leave and then call you about the thing that they just talked about in front of you and then told you to go do something. It's like, all right, asshole.
Like, just had that conversation with me right here in front of my face. No, okay.
I know you had to transmat out and then just
and then
tell me. Yeah, and then call me. That's the other part. You call me. Like sometimes that makes sense. Like like Anna basically coming to terms with turning off like effectively her brother, like Rasputin. Yeah, that makes sense. Go leave and go collect your thoughts. That's fine. But if you're talking about military procedures with Zavala and then you leave to go repeat the same thing you said to him but to me, fuck you. I'm a part of this military too. In fact, I'm most of your military. Like just tell me that right then and there.
Give us the opportunity, like give us a war table. You teased us with the helm, like it was going to be some kind of like personal design space. It's really just a rotator for all your seasonal activities that doesn't clutter up the tower. That's all the helm's there for. It's there for the seasonal stuff, so that it doesn't clutter up the tower anymore. Because it don't make sense to do all the stuff that we're doing year in and year out, and the tower still stay the same. We built a Vex gate to eradicate a mind, and it was just in the tower until we were done with it, and then we handed it off to the future war cult, and they used it to try and take out the Elixir and destroyed themselves. But we didn't see it. We didn't see none of it happen, and we didn't see no parts of it. We just heard about it in the background and then dealt with the ramifications.
Yep.
We didn't have no conversations with
like
Lakshmi.
Even at the end of the day. Like, with all of this, Cream. Like, even if it was just a cutscene with our character being involved, that would have made so much of this better. Like, I don't care if I didn't actually get to involve myself in the opening of the Vex Gate, but if I saw my character there, and my character was interacting with people at all, I still would have been, oh shit, this is hype, let's go, because, I'm there, I'm doing stuff. No, I am off in the lounge having a martini, which, by the way, I better be. Like, after all of this shit happening in Destiny, where I'm not involved, I better take every fucking moment during a cutscene that I'm just sitting there in the back lounge, like the one you have to go through a vent now to get to, just just sitting there. I got a spa day going on. I'm eating brownies, drinking a martini, because clearly I'm not important enough to include in all this shit. So I'm just gonna sit here, wait till I get my order from Commander Zavala or Ikora, who the fuck else, to go kill some other alien god. I'm gonna sit here and have a spa day because apparently I'm not important enough. The guy who kills gods for fun. No, let's not talk to him. Let's not get him involved.
Who's responsible for everything?
The guy who has more insight. Yeah, the guy who has more insight into all these events than all of you motherfuckers combined. I could have told you that bitch was gonna betray us. Let's be honest. Like, I could have told you that Osiris was actually Savathun. I could have told you any of this shit, but nah. I actually have a theory. I have a belief, Kareem, that our character's been doing this shit out of spite. I actually do thoroughly believe he knows everything that's happening, but he's just like, fine, Guess I'll just go be Soldier A over here. Gonna saunter over. Oh, look at that. Amanda's dead. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Man.
I wonder if anybody...
Oh, Traveler's dead? Oh, shit. Man.
I wonder if anybody could have seen this coming.
Sips tea aggressively.
I wonder if anybody could have hopped in a ship and shot something down. Oh, no.
Man, I'm gonna sit here, and the fucked up part is, I mentioned nothing about Amanda. Amanda would have been doing the same thing next to us. At times Amanda has just been like, hey, don't fucking do this shit. Don't fucking do this. What's wrong with y'all?
Hey Zavala, I know you mean well, Zavala, but you know, there's this thing called precedent, and those are enemies. I'm just trying to understand what's going on here. You know,
Like,
just a human asking questions. You know, not any of you like superpower, just a human asking
also,
questions.
just pointing
Like,
out here, Amanda was besides us, was the first one to become friends with the Elixir as well. Just pointing that out. Like,
yeah,
I'm not cutting Crow just because, like, when Crow came to being, he just was friends with the Elixir. It's
yeah,
like,
because
it's the one, it's
he
people who
was
found him.
beforehand,
Yeah.
right?
But
Um,
it's
but
just legitimately,
like,
Amanda became friends with everybody, including, like, Miss Rex, before anyone else, because she knew what was up.
hmm
Just saying.
right,
And that's
and
probably why they had to kill her too,
like
because she was the only one with brains.
I right, you know, as part of the script for this video, I summarized the email that I wrote back in year three,
Mm-hmm.
after Shadowkeep, and I'm just gonna read this in little paragraphs, like 4 sentences, okay?
Yep.
So I released a video a few years ago insinuating that I had influenced the narrative of Year 3 Shadowkeep. My evidence was an email that I had sent directly to Luke Smith, CCing Pete Parsons, wherein I suggested that Rasputin would be made aware of something that he lacked the power to stop. An entity much older than humanity, possibly even as old as the Traveler. That entity would reshape our light and that of the Vanguard while sending us on the path of re-education that was as to what our power can be. Now, don't that sound like what we've been doing for the last 4 years?
Yep. They stretched one email into 4 years worth of content. It.
Who's the entity older than humanity, possibly as old as the Traveler? Savathun.
Yep. Soon.
And what happened as with the Witch Queen DLC? All of our light was changed. The way light subclasses worked changed because Savathun showed up and said, "Hey guys, you're doing it wrong." And then here comes the witness, a dude who's almost as old as the Traveler, who's about to reshape our light again, who did something that we didn't even like. He manipulated the Traveler in a way that we had no idea was possible. He enveloped the Traveler in a cloak of light and took it away from us.
Yep.
What is the witness doing right now?
He's currently in the Traveler. Yeah.
So that's why I'm writing this video, because I wrote one email almost 5 years ago now, and it perfectly predicted every story beat that we've had. Yet the producer and the team lead, like the team leads, can't figure out how to keep people engaged, having gone through 4 different leads since Destiny 2 started, which is technically the 5th lead since Destiny began. We're 5 leaders in, 10 years in, and we're dying slowly because
Mm-hmm.
everyone since the original leader had no idea what they were doing, and they took away things that actually made the game enjoyable. You know, the individuality that we were able to experience with certain builds and certain uh, uh, parameters were changed because 1% of the population was capable of doing something that Bungie didn't think met the vision for fun that they wanted. Um, and as such, they changed things irrevocably for the entire community and turned Destiny into a Souls-like MMO more than a space fantasy where you are playing a lich with paracausal powers acting as the last line of defense against for humanity against alien random odds. There's so much of a focus on gunplay that there's barely any attention on magic, and the gunplay has been so heavily focused on that it's become redundant. You know, we've got 75. We've got how many different SMGs, how many different scout rifles, and it's really just like 15 guns with different part combinations.
I actually had something about this in terms of guns. It's weird to say it like this, but just bear with me. So you know how, like, COD, the most recent one to come out, I have it downloaded. It's a lot of fun. It has guns from this version, the second version of Modern Warfare, and the first version of Modern Warfare. It has all of those guns, almost 200 in total, if not more. And yet, every single gun still fun. Every single gun is still fun to use. Every single gun feels different to some degree. And yet, you're able to customize them to do everything you want, do anything that, like, it can do within its parameters. And how come there's not the same kind of argument from COD when it comes to the same kind of argument from Destiny and COD when it comes to their guns? And the reason is that with Destiny being an RPG and most people still being focused on like numbers, people are always going to gravitate towards the shotguns in PvP and the SMGs in PvE. Like, and then when it comes to heavies, those just have a tendency to change based on the season. But those will always be the kings of whatever they're trying to do. Whereas in Call of Duty, with 200 plus guns, with almost borderline infinite combinations, because after you level up a gun, you're actually able to make the attachments work on other guns. With even then, that doesn't last very long, because people go, "Oh man, that SMG user sucks." Notice what I just said: that SMG user, not that SMG. That SMG user. Sometimes in COD, a gun can get so overpowered that, like, at one point in Warzone, there was a glitch because a revolver you could put a snake shot in it, which, by the way, if you don't know what snake shot is, it's literally something where the pellets are like flecks of pepper and steak. Like, they're not that big at all, and yet, because they're used for killing snakes. And yet, in Warzone, it two-shot people. If not one shot. It was well, no, like, in reality, snake shot can't actually, like, kill a person like that. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's useless. But in COD, in COD, it was fucking awful. Like, it two-shot people. It ran rampant.
Because your combat effectiveness is...
No, Cream, that's not what I'm trying to say. It was a glitch. Okay. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't supposed to be like that. Okay. That's what I was trying to say, man.
That's fair, but from a personal standpoint, like from a real life standpoint, I could understand how snake shot would down someone, not necessarily kill them, but basically take them out of the fight, because pepper burns. Like, I don't know if you've ever gotten pepper spray in your eyes.
I have, yes.
And getting that in your tissue, you're gonna be squirmy, and then you said pepper flakes and what pellets?
No. You completely misunderstood me. I'm saying the bullets, the pellets are the size of pepper.
Right.
So they're not actual pepper, my guy. That's what I'm saying. Pellets are size of pepper. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Is that, like, that's why I said, like, pepper flakes. It would hurt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's okay. So I was trying to figure out where you're coming from. Like, there's no way he thinks this would actually be a you think no, it's not. It's not chemical warfare.
Pepper, that would hurt.
No, it's so shot with pepper that would hurt. It would hurt. No, I agree. But, like, I'm saying, but, like, it's not chemical warfare. It's just pieces of metal the size of pepper. Like, which would still hurt, but if you're a soldier wearing armor, fuck no, that's not getting anywhere. It has no penetration.
It's barely getting through your clothes.
Yeah, and so the fact that it was two-shotting people in Warzone, a game mode where you can get extra armor, that was causing a
Mm-hmm.
problem in the community, but it lasted
Yeah.
like a month, and then like then they fixed it. It's still useful because like the whole point is that it turns your revolvers into shotguns, but like it wasn't doing
Oh
as
no,
much
Lord
as
of
what it was
Wolves is
supposed to
running
be.
rampant. Lord of Wolves is broken.
Well,
Oh
yeah,
my
seriously.
god. Oh my god, Master at Arms. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
Raccoons, you
And see,
gotta
like
get it.
that's the thing, though. That's where it comes from, Cream. Is that the reason I've had this argument before is because people will take what COD is doing and compare it to Destiny, and I have to say, like, no, Destiny still has perks and all these abilities. Like, well, the attachments do the same thing. No, they don't, because Recluse.
No, they
Let's just
don't.
go with Recluse for instance. Master of Arms actually increases your damage. There is no attachment in
Mm-hmm.
COD history that increases the damage of a weapon. Every attachment either like increases like accuracy, like reload speed, aimed at
Penetration.
like no, well,
Stagger.
sometimes I have penetration. Not so much stagger. They took that out like a few games ago because people were agreeing that like
Oh, okay.
if you put
Complaining.
well, yeah, no, it was complaining, but it was also that like it didn't line with the rest of the guns basically. That it's like if you put it like this, that like it makes sense that if you get hit by a sniper shot and it doesn't kill you, it's gonna stagger you. Like there's no
Mm.
complaining about that. But if some motherfucker rolls up to me with a 9 millimeter pistol and shooting that thing at me in a video game makes me flinch up to the skybox, there's an issue with that.
Yeah,
Especially like if
that's
they're
that's
hitting me
true.
in the chest in the center plate. I'm just like, no, it's gonna maybe
Mm.
push me back just like in real life, but unless you're hitting me in the eye, 9 millimeter shouldn't be doing that much shit to me, especially if I have armor on. So like there was,
Right.
that's always been my thing when people compare Destiny and other games is that Destiny is an RPG with guns. So as a result, a lot of the guns have abilities that real guns do not. And even though COD isn't super realism, it still makes sense for the guns that they have. So it's like, an SMG still has a better time to kill than a shotgun at long range, but which,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, that's the other thing I enjoy about COD is that they actually get the range of shotguns a little better than they used to. Because
Yeah,
in
because
Destiny, here's my shotgun. I'm gonna shoot someone not that far away
freaking
from
Mac
me.
you.
Yeah, well, weirdly enough, I'm not even talking about like PvP. I'm talking about like PvE. I'm talking about how like
Okay.
there are
Oh yeah. Okay.
shotguns in PvE where like I'll be up in an Elysian shit, and it's like, oh no, you're too far away. I'm like, what? What?
Nope.
What is the spread of this
This is
shotgun that I
the
can't
fall off
shoot a
stuff.
thing something that's like 3 stories tall to me? Like, what do you mean I'm missing?
Most
Meanwhile,
shotguns have a lethal range of about 40 feet. If
hmm
if you are if it takes me 3 steps to get to you, you are within 40 feet.
hmm
Just
but
your
don't get me
carapace is
wrong,
not that tough,
for
and because
game
we know what
wise,
flesh is, bro.
like,
Hmm.
as let's go back. Let's compare COD and Destiny again. That like in COD, no one complains about the range of shotguns. Like, why? Even though shotguns can kill someone at that reasonable amount of range, especially if enough of the pellets hit. We want to know why no one complains about it. No one complains about it. There is because shotguns do as much damage as they're supposed to do, whereas in Destiny, their damage numbers are inflated because they're special weapons. So the fact that I can be one shot by somebody with a gun that basically allows them to get ammo every time that they kill me, yeah, no, that's really fucking annoying. Versus if I'm in COD, this guy is still, if he's not at the optimal like range, he's not gonna immediately one shot me, especially if his aim isn't great. Fucking Destiny, nope. Like
Hmm.
you could be shooting at my feet and it would still fucking kill me.
Right. Oh, it's a
Like
shotgun. Joel, it's a shotgun.
yeah, it's a shotgun, so that means it has no range, yet it has all of the range, and it doesn't do that much damage, but it has all of the damage. Destiny for some reason has not just an identity crisis with its game, it has an identity crisis with its guns, which is disturbing. Because I get it, they're sci-fi weapons. Sci-fi weapons should be a little like better than weapons from like our era, but there's only so much you can do to a shotgun to make it better than the shotgun we have nowadays. Like Guardians aren't
Right.
Master Chief. It's not like they can hold a shotgun that kicks like a truck and be fine. They still have human brittle bones, so that shotgun still is only going to hit as hard as you want it to. Like, which, by the way, Stream,
The
I apologize if
logistics
this
of it
seems to go
all.
off the rail. We have a tendency to go off on Destiny because we love it so much. I know that's one thing we should probably preface. We love this game, we really do, and that's why we're
Genuinely
angry.
love this game
Like that's why we're angry.
because it's supposed to be better. It's supposed to be better.
It was
I even
promised
put
to be
this in the
better.
script. I have always had higher expectations for Destiny than Bungie has put forward. Like I even went so far as when the game first came out, I was putting out weekly um, uh, uh, Wastelander survival guides in inferring that the enemies had actual elemental weaknesses because I thought that would make sense for an RPG that the enemy factions had like elemental weaknesses, given that
Hmm.
they gave us different elemental subclasses, it would make sense that our enemies are susceptible to specific subclasses. But no, that's never been a thing.
None of that.
It's
Nope.
never even once been a thing. Why? No reason. They just didn't put it in. They just didn't put it in. Didn't account for it.
Yep.
Because why would they need to account for that? Like,
Makes no damn sense.
why would you need to account for your game having depth? I don't know because
Give me a second, Stream. I'm gonna download something.
very frustrating because this is one of the few games that I have ever been excited about in my life. Uh,
Yep.
this is the first game that excited me since Mass Effect, and uh, you know, it's the way that that game was put together. It set my expectations kind of high for other titles, just because you know it's what's possible, and it's not necessarily that the team is not as good at Bungie as the team at BioWare because that couldn't be further from the truth. Like the developers at both studios are actually very competent people. It's just for whatever reason the systems are not uh, they're not being cared for the way that they should be to provide the engagement that Bungie says they want. And looking at other other games in the industry, it's crazy to me that no one at Bungie has attempted to do a case study on any of the other games that they play. It's almost like the only games that Bungie developers play is Destiny. Like because it's kind of impossible to have a a breadth of experiences that counter one another and not be able to tell the difference or see where something you're working on is lacking comparative to others in its field. And given that Bungie basically created the looter shooter genre, like or not necessarily created it, but they definitely did. Then let literally every person that has ever put their hat into the ring after them to do it better than them is it's a letdown
Hmm.
because they are the definitive first person shooter experience and they let that go to their heads because they thought that they couldn't lose. Um, but you can lose if you don't ever actually do anything worthwhile.
Yep. And that's one reason why you have games like The Division 2 or games that have yet to come out yet, like The First Descendant. First Descendant's going to be a free-to-play third-person looter shooter that's basically like Warframe and Destiny and Division smashed together. And we played the beta and it was fucking amazing. So
Yep.
my initial thoughts
You
right
know,
now
one
are
of
the
the
fact that like you have a game that basically took the lessons from other games of its genre and it made something better, if not like just a
hmm
step in the right direction, if you don't want to go that far. And it's kind of baffling that a studio that, let's be honest, I don't even know who makes the first Descendant, yet they have no notoriety, and yet the first Descendant fucking destroyed people's expectations of just like, oh yeah, this is what you expect from a game like this. All right, well then
Yep.
here's something better, right? Now I'm not gonna say the first Descendant is better than something like Warframe. I don't think I'll ever say that because Warframe is an entirely different genre of game to some degree, but also it's had much more
Yep.
time in the market to refine itself. But first
Right.
Descendant,
hmm
possibly first Descendant, depending on what happens when it's actually released, might be better than Destiny. Just gonna be entirely honest. The beta was the most
Like
fun I've
out the
had in a
box.
game than Destiny in a very long time.
The beta
So
is the most fun I've had in a right in a beta. It's the most fun I've had in a beta in a while. And we played Exo Primal as well, and Exo Primal, like, as engaging as it wasn't the first Descendant beta. Like, the first
yeah,
Descendant beta was genuinely like, hey, like, if I had more time to play it, I would have,
yeah,
you know, and like, because the just eh, from the little bit that I played, just about every grievance that I have ever leveled at Destiny was addressed in the first Descendant. Like, there's a mod system that works with the powers that they're given that are very similar to the Destiny subclasses. Um, and the mod system is very similar to the mod system of Warframe. So they combine the subclass kind of architecture of Destiny with the modding architecture of Warframe to give you abilities that are drastically different based off of the mods that you're running on that character at that time. So it's very specifically, you know, uh, you may be running the same adventurer. You may be running the same descendant as another person, but because you guys are modded differently, your powers work very differently. You're probably running different powers, and you're not limited to a specific kit versus another kit. You have all of the abilities that that character can learn, and you can mix and match them however you choose to. So, from a Destiny perspective, it's like you're playing a Night Stalker um, that also has the crit kit of a golden gun and the well of a warlock instead of a dodge, right? So uh, you have a crit based void subclass that can heal itself or empower itself depending on what the situation needs. Uh, and then just as easily as you did that, you can go into your kit, your inventory, and switch to a different mod preset, and now you function like a pure stormcaller. You know, that, that's
and
that's
it's
just what was apparent from the demo.
yeah, and this is something I feel like that should be mentioned too, because it's definitely going to come up at some point. The more we talk about this, and it's something that I've had an argument with people in my Destiny clan for like years now, and it's just I have to understand it like this. When you put a lot of options in a game, people do have a tendency to gravitate towards the concept that, oh, if you give a player too many options, that's broken. Like, it gives a player too many
hmm
things, that's broken. And I agree with certain games. Certain games are not cultivated well that if you
Choice
gave too many
paralysis is
options,
broken.
like if you certain games are not cultivated like, well to receiving that many like
hmm
variations, then yeah, I can understand what you mean by broken. But then I also talked to them as, all right, so I want you to define broken to me. And when they did, their responses were kind of what I expected, in the shape of like, oh well, a broken is that, like, someone could just use this and it would be the best thing and everyone would use it. I'm like, okay, cool. And I basically just got them to say that over and over again, and I said, cool. How is that any different than how Destiny has been for the last 3 fucking years? And at first they didn't know what I was talking
Facts.
about, and I was just like, all right, cool. Let's just go with this for a moment. For for the last 3 or 4
Right.
years, fucking Hammer Titan has been one of the most broken characters in the entire fucking game. And you cannot deny it to me. They have a fucking hunter, not hunter, they have a Titan helmet that, granted, they nerfed it recently, but it allowed you but to just throw the hammer, bonking enemies, and never die. As long as you were throwing the hammer, you never died. Like, there was no reason that you should die as long as you had that hammer and you had that exotic. That was it. And this was back when the exotics were easy to get too. So this has been like this for years. When people want to do content that's even remotely difficult, they use Hammer Titan. All right, like, oh well, you can do
Yep.
this, that, and the
Yep.
other with these
Easy mode.
characters. I'm like, okay. And here's the thing: is that's where I caught them with it, Kareem. Is that, like, they said, oh well, you could do this on this character too. So how is Hammer Titan broken? It's broken because what you're saying is that your definition of something being broken is it's something everyone would use. But let's be honest, most players do have one Titan, one Warlock, one Hunter, Kareem excluded. Everybody has those characters. So just saying that the Titan Bonk isn't broken because the other characters also have things that are broken doesn't fix the issue. In fact, it makes what I'm saying more accurate. It's that when you give players
Right.
access to all these abilities, people will gravitate towards the ones they prefer the most. Yes, I know there is a Warlock build that basically allows you to have infinite abilities and kill everything instantaneously. I've used it. Yes, I know that, like, my favorite build in the game since I last started playing was a Gear Falcon's Hunter, because you can just go infinitely invisible and have at least 100% increased, like, damage as long as you're doing it right. Yes, those are the builds I run exclusively on those classes. And that's my point, is that those are the most powerful builds, so you're going to use them. If Fist of Havoc was as viable as it was just running around punching shit, one-shotting everything, you would be using it. You wouldn't be using Fist of Havoc if it was
Mm-hmm.
ass. That's the thing that I tried to get across to them, is that, like, the more powerful things you have in a game, yes, there is some give and take with
You
you
just
and the game itself fighting each other. It's like, clearly, if we have access to these powerful abilities, the game is going to need to compensate in one way or another to keep the challenge there. I agree with that. But when it stops being fun is when there's only one thing you can do to counteract the enemies. I don't think anyone would have complained about the increase in
right.
and difficulty in Destiny if there were enough things that we could do to fight against that difficulty. But no, there's like a handful,
Right.
and most of them are on the same fucking class. So the point
Mm-hmm.
I try to get across to them is that when you're trying to build a game and you're trying to make a power system and a difficulty for that game, if you want to make the game more difficult, you have to give more options. Would you feel if Diablo 3, no, to be frank, I don't know anything about Diablo 4. How would you feel if in Diablo 3 you basically everyone was forced to use barbarian because every other class could not compare with how difficult the game got, so everyone had to use barbarian? That would suck. I like barbarian, but not that much. I prefer necromancer, and I can't. Are you telling me that I have to play a certain character just to play the game that I want to play? That's fucking bullshit. I should be able to play any character. And people have told me that, like, oh well, see, that's the reason. See, then you just gotta be accepted the fact that you're not allowed to do everything in the game. And I'm like, that's not my fucking point. I don't think Kareem would be as nearly as mad if there were enough viable things on Hunter, but sometimes it was like, yeah, it's more viable to use Golden Gun or Arc Strider, but you could still use them.
Right.
Like, that's the thing, is that, like, realistically, if you're playing Hunter nowadays, you are exclusively Night Stalker, or you are
Yep.
occasionally the
Because
Golden
Gary
Gun,
Falcons is
like,
broken.
when you, yeah, Gare Falcons is broken, but also just, in my opinion, like, Night Stalker is still just the best subclass, and it's been
Oh yeah.
forever now.
100%.
Yeah, and the
Forever.
thing
For
is,
as long as
is
it's
that,
been a
like,
thing.
even
Because it's
you,
the only
a
one that can
Night
play now.
Stalker main, would switch to Golden Gun and Arc Strider if there were more interesting shit and more powerful shit to use with them. Like, if you had the
Mm-hmm.
ability to run around with just like an on fire 6-shooter as your your main weapon, Are you serious? I'd do that.
Right. Like
I would put down
legitimately.
every other weapon if I could just run around like old west style with a fucking 6-shooter, fanning the hammer on aliens. That would be fun as shit. Like if I could just run
Right.
around with the arc staff or
And
with the arc blade, like without it having to be a fucking super. Let's not get into
But
that,
Vaughn,
because
how would we get to that point? How would we get to that point? Because that just seems really broken with how they've made the game so far. Here's how you do that. We have cast how many supers over the course of our time playing this game?
like billions at this
Every
point.
time you cast a super, the efficiency of that super improves the efficiency of the next super cast. Just makes
Yep.
sense.
Yeah,
It just
and
makes
that's the
sense.
thing. There are
If you kill
that's
50 people with a single shadow shot, you should be able to tether more people with that shadow shot
and
before
Kareem,
it dissipates.
that's the thing though, is that the one thing they never think about is that, hey, maybe the people can just rewrite parts of the game like they've been doing for the last 3 years. That's been my other main thing, is that like you're saying these things will be broken.
It's a
I can give
patch, bro.
you it's a patch, and it's also just like a weekend. Like I'm sorry, but Bungie has proven to themselves that, like, hey, listen, you guys use spaghetti code. You guys can't figure shit out whatsoever. When a development team of 4 people can make a game that's more engaging than an entire Bungie operation, there's something fucking wrong.
Power World.
So, yeah, Power World, exactly. And it's that I feel like is the only thing I will ever give to people when I do have this argument with them, is that they do say, all right, well, all right, smart guy, will counter me with this. How does Bungie do that when Bungie is super incompetent? And my only answer is, fuck you, you have a point, but still, if Bungie wasn't incompetent,
And so
maybe we would get somewhere.
if Bungie's incompetent, why do you keep giving them new money?
That's the now. Granted,
If you've
we
acknowledged
are
this,
man enough to
why are you
admit we have
doing
done
it?
that too. we we've
Yes.
we have definitely spent
I
money.
I
I'm
am
not
man
buying the
enough to
final shape.
admit
I'll put
that
it
the
that way.
reason why.
If it goes on sale during
No
its life
way. No
cycle,
way.
then
The
maybe.
only way I will buy the final shape is if Bungie contacts me before June, asks me how to fix it. That's the only way, because I am not going to trust anything about final shape until 6 months in. We done seen 2 seasons, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is actually different." That's the only way. It is
Hmm.
literally the
That's
only way, bro. Because
which,
I
by
have
the
given
way,
them too
Grim, you
many
have no how
chances.
angry I'll be if like the second final shape comes out and we're like, yeah, right, not gonna buy that, and we both log in and we see each other at the online at the same time. We're sitting there going, so I see we both failed.
Hmm.
Like, I'll be so mad if, like, listen, I understand I have a weak
I
will.
would
Don't get me
genuinely
wrong.
be upset because we have so much stuff, so much other stuff to do. I would be genuinely disappointed in myself if
Hmm.
that happened. I really would. Like,
Also,
not
when
so
does the
much
first
you,
Ascendant come
but
out?
myself for sure.
Oh, damn. Um,
June, like a week
is it
before
June?
the final shape. Because, like, yes,
Just to
that's
drag,
why final
just
shape
to.
is coming out in June. They're trying to kill the first descendant so that they don't have any competition. They delayed Final Shape by 4 months because that's when First Descendant is supposed to come out.
First Descendant release date. By the way, I like how this is still like one of the first Google results for the First Descendant is the First Descendant Giat, because people are still freaking out about like all the female characters' asses.
Right.
Which, they took exactly this. That's
Yeah.
the other thing they took from Warframe. This, hey, listen, we want our characters to be hot, so we're gonna make them hot. Like,
Like
if
the
you're gonna get
crazy thing
angry at us
is,
because we make
like,
hot characters, eat ass.
so for one, like the reaction that everybody had to the Ice Descendant homegirl, like everybody was like, "Oh man, she thick." I have my wife is thicker, so I like it didn't register for me
So,
how
so, so, so,
how thick
okay.
she was. But no, but peep game. Like I was playing the beta, and my dad happens to walk through while I'm playing, and he's like, "She got a big butt, don't she?" I was like, I mean, it's the character. I didn't choose that. That's just the character model. There again, my wife's backside is shaped like a P, so like the capital letter
Yeah,
P.
okay,
So
I
it's different for me.
it's
It's
different. Like you
different
got
for me.
access to something better, so others don't register. Nah,
Right.
I get it.
But
Like despite having a girlfriend, me and my girlfriend still routinely, hunt. So clearly, like when I
right.
still
Oh yeah,
notice
no, we
that
both
shit.
do.
Like now,
Yeah. So
granted, I
first
will admit
descendant
Bellingham doesn't have
is
that many, but because it's Bellingham.
right.
Uh,
So
yeah.
first descendant is slated to release summer 2024 as of January 12th.
Okay. Then cool.
Bungie
I,
is trying to
which,
kill first descendant in the crib.
which is funny because I'm gonna be entirely honest. Like, it's not gonna fucking work because here's the best part: First
It's
Ascendant
not gonna
is
work.
free. That's like the main thing. No one has to
Right.
make a
You don't.
commitment. So, I have to
I
spend
don't gotta
almost
buy nothing
$60 to play to play the final shape.
to play the final shape.
I can spend 3 hours downloading the First Descendant for free and have fun. That's why it's not going to kill it. It's because it's
Right.
like imagine if Warframe was having a big update that basically added in a bunch of shit that seems Destiny related, and then Destiny tried to do the same thing. It wouldn't fucking work. Warframe would laugh at
It
Destiny.
really wouldn't.
It would just be
It's
like,
like,
are
huh?
you serious? You're trying to You're trying to
Yeah, because
like you can't kill. I'm sorry, you cannot kill a game, especially like Warframe or First Descendant, unless you are giving something to the audience that they want over the other game, and that its accessibility is better. You can't beat free. That's just the other thing. You can't beat that. And
right.
the only way to beat free is to is to give people shit. Like like all right, if you download the final shape, then you get a free hand job for my Cora. Like that's basically how they're going to try to beat the First Ascendant. Like that's all I could think about that would work because again, I have to spend $40 to play this game, or I can go buy a burger for $5 and come back, and the First Ascendant will be downloaded. Like
You know,
$40 versus five
like
dollars,
the sense, right? The sense
optional
ain't
five
making sense,
dollars.
bro. I'm just right. It's like I
Like,
did it because I felt like it, not because you told me I had to in order to understand what this thing is about.
and
This is
also let's
like,
be honest, if the cosmetics in First Ascendant are awesome, they're also going to make more money. Because
oh
it's the
yeah,
same thing in
100%.
Warframe. Is
Because
that
I don't
it's like
have
it's
to
all
pay to
cosmetics.
play.
Hmm.
People drop mad money on the cat, like because that's where Warframe makes its money in cosmetics.
Cosmetics and
Cosmetics.
which
Because
again I
and check
love.
this out.
Go ahead.
Their weapon system is static.
Hmm.
Their weapon system is static. Ain't nothing random about the weapons in Warframe.
Yep.
The
The only thing that's
the
random is the
only
materials in
random
order to make
factor is
them.
what you chose to do with it. Right. What you did with it after you made it. The base weapon is the same base weapon that everybody else built from the 3D fabricator. You then put whatever mods you wanted to make it the thing that
Make it unique, to
shits
make
the
it
way
do the
you want it
thing.
to.
Hmm.
Right.
Like at the end of the
You know.
fucking day, that weapon is mine. There are many like it, but this one is mine. That is the best way to
But
put
this
it.
one
And
is
I'm
mine.
not grinding for 8 hours straight to get the perfect roll of Ostringer to then use it in PvP and then get killed by an even better roll of a different gun. And then, like, all right, well,
Right.
I effectively wasted 12 hours of my life to get shit on by someone who wasted 80 hours of his life. So,
Right.
what,
But
like, is that what
and
Destiny has become at this point? As just like, see who can
pretty
waste
much.
more of their life to get their
Yeah, because they
EP to
don't
be
even have a
bigger?
bonus pass. There's
Like,
no bonus battle pass. It's just 100 levels. Like that blew my brain. The first season that we spent on Fortnite, the
that,
first
like,
season we
all
spent with
right, did 100
Fortnite
levels.
after
There's
playing Destiny
more?
for 7 years, bro. 7 years of Destiny, 4 years with the battle pass, and Fortnite. Fortnite showed me that I needed to be playing something different because their battle pass was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Fortnite,
Fucking
the game that
Fortnite.
just introduced racing and survival and rhythm into their game, into their battle royale. for no other reason
Mhm.
than they could.
They could. They
Meanwhile,
had
Destiny needs some new Destiny
like
needs some new content, and they won't even bring back the thing that they did in Destiny 1, Sparrow Racing League.
they
They
won't
got the
bring
code
back
sitting on a
things
shelf.
like here's also something that should really we don't need to call out people. Let's be honest, we're not that kind of group. But just to point this out, even though he still covers it, even though it's what's made his career, Dado agrees with us. That's something that should tell
Mm-hmm.
everybody. Like, granted, we don't know Dado. Dado hasn't seen any of our videos, blah, blah, blah. But when I hear him talk about it, and what I've heard him talk about for the last number of years, he still, goes out of his way to defend Bungie for various things, especially when it comes to, like, the things that, let's be honest, no one can actually control. Like, he defends Bungie on behalf of the people who sent them death threats over them not bringing Twilight and Garrison back. That was definitely all right, hold your horses for a second here. It's a video game. Calm down. And, like,
Right,
plenty of
right,
times,
right.
like,
Grow up, guys.
and more recently, remember a few months ago when I mentioned that video that Dado made that was just him just blatantly saying, "You guys have lost so much of the plot. The only reason I am buying the final shape is because I'm going to make more money covering it than I spent on on this piece of shit." This is legitimately something Dado
Mm-hmm.
said in a post. He's like, "I'm buying the final shape because I know I'm going to make money off of it. If I didn't,
Right.
I would just not care." Like, which granted, he did also admit this later on that he was angry and that realistically he's buying the final shape because he's been here since the beginning and he's like, I at least need to see
Mm-hmm.
to see how it ends. I agree with
It's
that sentiment.
loyalty.
If
It's
I
loyalty.
Well, it's loyalty, but it's also along the lines of like, I wasted 10 plus years of my life on this. I might as well see where it
I need to
ends.
see this thing through.
And he does
Exactly.
think he has the money to spend. He
That's
has the
what I'm
money to spend
wrestling.
on it. I don't have.
Right.
I'll admit, Kareem, I'm in the same boat. If I had money, I probably would do that. But I don't have Final Shape like money, and I don't have enough money to justifiably me going, am I going to buy the Final Shape or am I going to buy Like a Dragon? I'm buying Like a Dragon. Like, like I'm not spending money on that. But Dado is amazing at handling his finances. That motherfucker is way too rich, so he can afford to just go,
I mean,
yeah,
he's
you're
built a
gonna do it.
business off of playing video games.
Yeah,
He's
like a
built a
legitimate
business off of playing
business,
video games. He's
like
not.
legitimate. It's
He's not gonna
scary.
fail.
He's
Like as
scary.
long as like his job is now spending a minimum of 6 hours a day just playing video games and talking to himself, or rather talking to a chat. It's like that is his job.
He's a sarcastic math dad, and he has made a brand off of it, and it works. That's one reason why it's like out of every Destiny YouTuber, I give nothing but respect to Dado. Like he pretty much always tells it how it is, even if it sometimes is a little biased because he likes the game. But especially recently, he's told it exclusively how it is. It's been like because like I said, the last video he made, at least from my knowledge, I haven't watched him in a while, was about that $15 like starter pack they put in the store that had
Yeah,
so much of a
that
meltdown over that Bungie pulled it like almost immediately, like, oh shit,
yeah
that's
that
not what we were supposed to
atrocity
do.
because it was stupid.
Like
Yeah, Bungie should have
I
known
have
that
not
wasn't what you were
heard.
supposed to do. The
Not
issue is
it's
the
so
cost
bad.
of entry, and so you gave people a catch-up pack that they had to pay for,
Instead of
and
like,
it was useless.
yeah, but it was borderline useless,
Because
especially because of the items they gave, and it was like, let's be honest, they were good, but they're not like
old stuff,
they're old shit. It's not even that great anymore.
they're not
Like
difficult to get. They're,
Dado,
like,
I'm
come on, man.
literally about to go rewatch that video because it was hilarious watching him explode. Um, the he's actually you know what? I need to go back and watch some of Dado's stuff now because he's making a lot more just random content again, which is great. Oh no, he covered Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Yeah, that trash game.
Yeah, which granted, his title
Yeah,
is Suicide
that's the
Squad Killed the Justice League. Actually, they're that bad. It's 20 minutes, which makes me think it's that bad. Because if he spends 20 minutes on
yeah.
anything,
It's that bad.
it's the start.
It's to tear it apart. Yeah, because and it 100% is that bad because it's part of the Arkhamverse. You know, the Arkhamverse where they said that Deadshot was a white guy, not a black dude.
Wait,
And
Wishkeeper has like 4 catalysts? What the fuck?
yeah, they're different different bowstrings and arrow types, I believe.
Hmm. A little too little too
Wish
late.
Keeper, not Wish Ender. Wish
Yeah,
Keeper.
Wishkeeper, yeah,
Wish
Keeper,
Keeper has
yeah.
4 catalysts. Wish Ender still does not have one, which is stupid because that's
Yeah.
the easiest catalyst in the universe to create. Every 100 or so taken that it kills, just give it another exit wound. Just
Buried
every
Bloodline?
every every
Is that
thousand.
a crossbow? That's a crossbow. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, yeah, they gave us a crossbow. It's a pistol or a sidearm. I saw that thing and I was like, hey, so I really do feel like Bungie is trying its best to get me back into this game. Like, hey, come play this game so you can have
I, d-
conversations
I
on chat that
don't
we
want.
can,
I
so we can
don't want
screen
to
and figure out how to make
re-download
our
it.
game better.
I don't wanna, but like now it's testing me because I know I'm just gonna get it and be disappointed.
I'm playing right now, so it's like it'd be nice to have somebody to play with and not be running completely solo. But
Oh, what the hell?
it's
There's
whatever. It's been my life for the longest, so now that it's ended.
I feel like that's a jab at me, and I apologize for not playing more with you.
Nah, no, it's not a jab at you. Like I legitimately started playing by myself. I was forever 29 because I didn't have anybody to play with, and then I met you through Star 4 years ago, almost five now, um, and we play together sometimes, but we also like you're also on more often than I am, so
Yeah.
um,
Uh.
you have more folk that you hang out with.
No, well, not really, because like it's mostly just you guys now. Like I haven't talked to my Destiny clan in a while, except I joined in
Right.
just to duel Tommy for a little bit and beat his ass in the dirt because I could. um, and no, I didn't record it. But besides that, all my other friends I don't talk to anymore because they never talk to me. So like it's
Hmm.
just literally just you guys. Um, besides that, quick thing I just noticed,
I love my
God
straw
of
hats.
yeah, no, 100%. The new God of War got DLC. When the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. It's
Oh
a
shit.
it's a roguelike battle. It's a roguelike boss rush with tier. Tier gives you weapons. Every time
Huh?
you clear one of the runs, he gives you one of his weapons from his travels.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I want. I'm just looking at the titles from his videos because, as a reminder, Dado is super, like, just sarcastic. He's a
Hmm.
sarcasm master. So sometimes like here's a video on Wishkeeper, but it says I wish I wanted you to use Wishkeeper more than I do right now. Or your opinion on buried bloodline is here. Let's get to the catalyst too, since he acknowledges that people are so brain dead that they won't use a weapon until he tells them to. So he just started to run with it. Like the top 10 builds Data will use to get through the next 5 months. Builds just a copy from a YouTuber who told you they were good. Ribbon's wishes can get you raid weapons. Who cares? Oh my lord, he's just not. He's not letting it. Oh, and his
Those of us who haven't gotten the raid weapons yet, it's really it. So like when I
it's
saw,
Jover. This video on Joe Blackburn
yeah.
leaving is just called "It's Jover." God damn it! It's Jover. That sounded forced.
It's Jover, folks.
It's Jover.
It's all Jover for Destiny now.
Dude, you have no idea how much I
Yeah,
wish I had money right now because I want to back
but
chips, but
you have no idea how much I don't want to be doing what I'm doing right now. Like I don't
which
even
playing Destiny.
like right. Like I'm
uh
here because I was trying to get the strand bow, a strand bow, either one of them, either from the dungeon or or the Wishkeeper quest. But I'm presuming the Wishkeeper quest is apparently locked behind the seasonal story.
So basically, you have to
And
play much more Destiny than you possibly want
right.
to right now.
And the dungeon is a puzzle from the very, very beginning. I don't even know how to get to the first encounter, and I don't feel like looking up a guide to walk through it because no dungeon should require you to to have a walkthrough in order to get through it effectively. You should be able to figure it out on your own. But nope, we got to have super ridiculous jumping puzzles and verticality in a first person shooter. Why is every dungeon and raid have a platforming puzzle as a first person game? Why are we platforming in first person?
I don't know. I really don't. I just.
It's just
It's
hurts.
upsetting. It's
there's
upsetting.
there's 600 people.
Yep. Wales?
Warframes, weapons, armors, companions, components, literally anything in the game for money, or you can even trade in-game resources to go and there's literally like everything that you can spend money on, you can actually just take the time to earn in the game. Whereas
And
conversely, there's
just
stuff
a,
that's specifically only in the silver store.
and here's the other thing too is that that statement wasn't entirely and that's the starter stuff because everything else is not pay to win. You play the game and you get it. And
Hmm.
that's the part about the Warframe store that is the most important is the fact that no, it's not pay to win, and no, it's not a fucking
Like you can't buy
like
mods.
no, like
You
everything else in
like
the game, you have to work for yourself. These and also the
hmm
items in the store are better than the items in the store in Destiny because they're not super inflated. The platinum
Right.
like
And
market
they
they have is
apply to
brilliant.
literally everything that you have. You buy a
Hmm.
Sindana, that Sindana can go on any one of your Warframes and multiples at the same time. You don't have to go do a quest to get a resource to turn a piece of armor into a cosmetic so that you can wear it on just that specific class. You just buy it and it's there forever. Or you earn it and it's there forever, able to be used on anybody. And then additionally, they don't have freaking shaders or shader swatches. They have actual color palettes. So you actually get to
Hmm.
control the color of your like the appearance of your character.
Hmm. So many different things in this game
Optional armor pieces.
that allow you for so much player input to who you are as a person, to who you are as a player. And yet, after all of this, I still hear people say the Destiny is better. Don't get me wrong, I love Destiny, but no. It
It's
can't
not.
hold a candle to
It
Warframe. I'm
not
sorry.
even remotely.
And that's the part that makes me so sad. A free game beats a multi-million-dollar company.
that's been out just as long and been
Uh-huh.
free the entire time.
Meanwhile, some people have to
Warframe
take
is
out a
like two
mortgage
months
because
older
they
than
spend money on
Destiny.
Destiny.
Right. Warframe is
It's
2 months older than Destiny. 2 months. And it's been free to play the entire time. You
yep.
mean to tell me that and the
Okay. Wait,
man
hold on.
the full story
All right, I was gonna say most of this is gonna come out in your script anyway. I was gonna stop the stream
yeah.
here soon,
Okay,
so
that's fine.
yeah, we should probably save some of this for the video. I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Anything you want to
this
say as
last
closing?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. At closing, um be on the lookout for the video. It will be here within the week. Um and also, Soul Sim Showdown, Soul Sim Showdown, The Road to Do or Die starts tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Uh, until then, stay safe, stay blessed, and have a wonderful evening, everybody.
I should probably go have a banana, but they're all rotten.